So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Around Thursday, the 20th of March 2025, Nigerians woke up to the news that constituents of Kogi Central Senatorial District had begun a recall process against their senator, Senator NATASHA, citing a loss of confidence in her representation and pushing for her to be removed from the Senate. This came as a shock to some, not many. Yes, our laws have provisions, set out guidelines, allowing the people to withdraw senators who are not representing their interests properly. But in the history of Nigeria's democracy, through the rot, decay, and decadence that have played out, no senator has ever been recalled. Now, this doesn't mean that because it has never happened, it should never happen. No, the shock and surprise was more on what exactly has she done to warrant a recall. Is it really because she violated sitting position rules? Or was there more to this whole recall than meets the eyes? Is this really and truly the will of her people? Or is it merely a punitive political agenda arising from the sexual assault allegations that she had leveled against the Senate president? Let us know your thoughts. Drop them all down in the comment section. You know, when this whole thing started and she was going through intense backlash, it was like the whole country was against her. We were wondering, where are her people? Why are her people not speaking up in defense for her? Why are they not rising up for her? So first we saw this lady here who goes by the name Dr. Sandra Musa. She is the chairperson of Kogi Central Women Development Association. We were very hopeful that due to her position, she would have something reasonable, at least neutral, to contribute in the matter. But her contribution was not quite the expectation.
We believe that we should be good image to women across the world. And as far as we're concerned, Senator Natasha Akpoti had not represented us in good light. It is a rare privilege for women to be able to go that far in politics. For her to be a member of the Red Chambers, we felt it was one of the good things that has happened to us as women from Kogi Central. And that's very germane for other political women, so that that chance will always be available for us. And so we're seeing that her attitude and her behavior there, it's dimming our opportunities and our chances. And so we have to speak up to say this is not what we are, and we're not being represented as we expected.
And so the next thing we saw was a group of people lined up to sign a petition to recall Senator Natasha from the Senate. They were pouring in, lining up, in fact, struggling to get to their turn. And it did not need two glances to doubt the level of knowledge that these people gathered had of what exactly they were doing. You know, there is a reason our leaders keep us impoverished and uneducated. Because with finances comes liberation. With education comes exposure. You watching me now, if somebody gives you 20,000 naira to come out to disgrace yourself and your lineage and tell a lie, or to sign something that you don't know what you're signing, would you sign? No. So it's important that a majority of the populace stay that way, so they can be easy tools for political agendas, to liberate a people, to educate a people, to pull a people out of penury is not rocket science. Just two things can take the level and the status of a people from 0 to 80. Good roads, electricity. Just give the people road. Give them good road, open road, and put electricity there. You will see development. You will see improvement. The leaders know what to do. They go abroad. They see what is obtainable. They know what to do. But it is important that we stay in poverty and we wallow in stupid tribalism, and we remain at loggerheads with each other, and we languish in poverty, and we make our basic and primary need food. Because when a man is hungry, he can easily be bought over. When a man is hungry, he doesn't think of fundamental human rights. He doesn't think of other things. He is fixated on survival. And so we had all these people lining up to sign a petition to recall their senator. And true to the guess of many, before long, many of them started coming out to say, we don't know why we're here. They gathered us here that they are inviting us for empowerment. And we signed for our name to be among the empowerment lists. They give us
about the trending recall process in Kogi Central today. Okay, to be precise.
I call it to be a mess because nobody was aware of it at all. They took people to the collaboration center, deceiving them of doing empowerment, and when many of them, majority of them, get to know that what they want to do is not a normal thing. So all of them, they left. So I see it as a mess, and I know that they cannot do anything about that. They are just doing what people were not in support of, because I myself, I was not in support of it. Even majority of people in Okehilo.
This early morning, we were informed that we should come for an empowerment. When we get to the field, we are asked to bring our voter's card and the VIN, the number there. So we now ask why, because we heard that we should come for the empowerment. So they gave us a form to fill. You fill with your VIN and pen your signature. Then most of us will refuse that we cannot do that because we don't know that an empowerment can be done in this way. So we now left the field.
My polling unit to ask for our signature for the recall of our senator. We are waiting for the people who forged our signature to come, if INEC deem it fit, to come and verify those forged signatures. We shall arrest some people who forged our signature. We've already submitted the petition to the police, informing the police that people forged our signature for the recall of NATASHA. So we are waiting for INEC to come, so we will show INEC that these signatures are not our signatures.
So in essence, you didn't sign any petition?
Nobody visited polling units. Talk more of signing the recall process of NATASHA. Nobody. Our polling units were empty that day.
What's your name?
Who were the 250 people that signed the recall process? Who were those people?
Despite this alleged deceit already existing, the next video that made it out on social media was a video showing a group of people gathered in a room forging signatures for the recall, duplicating signatures, fabricating signatures to facilitate Senator Natasha's recall. And people were like, has it got into this? Why the desperation? Is it still Senate standing rules? Because I've heard some people that we need to have their brains checked, saying that the reason Senator Natasha was given this huge suspension with withdrawal of her security, no salary, no this, is because of she disrespected standing rules. So we're curious, is it the same standing rules? Is it the same Senate? Is it the same disobedience of standing rules that is pushing this level of desperation to have her removed, where people were filmed fabricating documents for her recall? Is this recall really, or is it something else that you may want to tell us in the comment section? You can start to drop your thoughts. We're getting there. When Senator Natasha got wind of this ongoing recall process, she swiftly approached the courts, filing a motion challenging the validity of that recall process and the procedures adopted by the INEC.
In 2 days, 450,000 people came out to sign petitions for the recall of the most performing senator in Nigeria. Are they for real? The few videos that circulated and pictures were in Ododo's ward and Yahaya Bello's ward. Most parts of Kogi Central, there was no activity. So what did they do? They went into some rooms and assembled a few of them and started filling in the petitions themselves. That was what they did. What I see INEC doing is aiding and guiding the petitioners on how to perfect their illicit acts. The first time the petition was submitted, they didn't have address, phone numbers, and all of that. So we ran a check on the status of registration of the association which sponsored my recall, Kogi Central Political Frontier, and the CAC report came negative that association is not registered. So I'm still waiting. I'm wondering why INEC has not not yet made a statement to that effect.
The court heard her motion, and in response of her motion, the Federal High Court sitting in Lokoja issued a restraining order halting that recall process. Restraining order, simple English, stopping it. The court gave an order. Yeah, what are people doing? Which recall is this? Stop. Bar break first. What is going on here? But our happiness and excitement was short-lived. Only very shortly after this order given by the court to INEC to halt that recall, the court lifted the restraining order, thereby allowing INEC to proceed with the recall. INEC is, let me mention this for those that didn't watch the last video, INEC is our electoral body. It is an acronym for Independent National Electoral Commission, and they are responsible. They are the body. They are supposed to be independent, but anyways, they are the body charged with the responsibility of organizing elections, announcing election results, and all of that. So the courts, the Federal High Court sitting there in Lokoja, lifted this restraining order that it had earlier given and gave the INEC the go-ahead to continue with the process. It is said that the court's decision to vacate the initial given injunction was based on assurances by INEC, given to it that it will stick to very strictly, it would adhere to all the constitutional procedures. Due process is strictly followed in the matter. And so the court said, okay, if you say so, if you can promise us that it's a constitutional right of the people, I can't stop you, go ahead and do it. It was at this point that I think I had a mental breakdown. I just couldn't deal. And this was happening at the same time where the democratically elected governor of Rivers State was removed and a military administrator was put in place. So, you know that feeling that we felt during NSAS, it was so overwhelming. At this point, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna die if I keep following this news. I'm gonna have a hypertension. My fragile heart cannot deal with this. Because at this point I was like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to read about this again. But reporting this goes beyond me. So yes, the updates will come. So at this point, we heaved a deep sigh of dejection, sigh of frustration. Our breaths were suspended in the air. INEC became our last hope. And don't forget that with the last general elections, a lot of people had already lost confidence and hope in the INEC. And so the recall process continued. When the petition stage was concluded, the petition was submitted with bags containing approximately 250,000 signatures. Kogi Central Senatorial District has 488,000 registered voters. And if you followed keenly on our last video, if you didn't, you have to pause this one and watch the last video because I explained very, very clearly the whole process of a recall. So we have 488,000 registered voters in Kogi Central Senatorial District, and the petition was submitted with approximately 250,000 signatures. Clearly, that was above 50% required by law. It was a good case. It was and seemed like a clear win. They were so proud of themselves. This lady here, who has a very interesting friend, championed the submission of this petition to the INEC. Remember how I have told you guys that it is not a coincidence that they are putting women as the forerunners, as the face of this campaign against Senator Natasha. So it's not look as if men are trying to crush a woman. So it's not international community will not say women are being suppressed, gender equality. No. So they are putting women at the forefront to champion these causes. So it will look as if, yes, women too don't like Senator Natasha. We don't like what she's doing. She's a bad woman, a bad representative of us. So this lady here was the one that championed that recall process. And so INEC received the petition. They put out a public statement that, yes, it has officially received the petition, and it also informed Senator Natasha officially that members of her constituents had submitted a recall application to have her removed. We had our hearts in our mouths, awaiting the outcome. Next thing that happened while we were anxiously awaiting the outcome from INEC, Senator Natasha Akpoti, who was already scheduled to visit her people, to end the Ramadan with them, and to celebrate Salah with her constituents, the people she loves, the people she advocates for at the house, the people that she assists, the people who voted her in. It was designed to be a glorious homecoming, and her people were overjoyed, anticipating her arrival. Less than 24 hours to Senator Natasha's arrival. What does not happen in some countries does not exist. What cannot happen in some countries does not exist. Less than 24 hours to when Senator Natasha's event was to happen, the Kogi State governor issued a memo banning all rallies, all public gatherings, all convoys in the state. So this woman who has had her security removed from her, and now she has to resort to private security. Convoys were then removed so she can drive alone at this risky stage of her life. And then the governor started running helter-skelter from pillar to post. He met with traditional rulers, traditional council to gather support for this agenda of his. 24 hours before Senator Natasha was to meet with her people. What a wonderful coincidence. It didn't stop there. Oh my God. Next, the Kogi State Police Command, through the Commissioner of Police, released a press statement directly ordering Senator Natasha to cancel that homecoming. That there is a perception of security breach and security information. Yeah? When people were gathered to sign petition to recall her, that was a public gathering too now. That one even had more propensity of turning violent, because supporters and non-supporters could clash. You didn't cancel public gathering, you didn't issue statement that everybody should stay at home. You allowed the gathering to happen. But now it is time for the lady to meet with her people, a practice that she had always been doing. And now there's a security problem. Headsmen killing, clashes, and all sorts of things have been happening. There was no security breach to issue a curfew. But less than those few hours to when this lady, Honorable Senator Natasha, was to meet with her people, all of a sudden, heaven wanted to fall. CIA, FBI, NASA, they all got intel that there was going to be a detonation of a nuclear weapon in Kogi State. Okwaya, it's all right. Everything possible was done to frustrate her and to frustrate that meeting, because it is very important that she doesn't connect with her people, so the world will not see that who are all these people that came to celebrate this woman. I mean, they say they want to recall her, so who are all these number of people? Who are all these numbers of people now? The number here is even more than the number that was submitted. It was very important for that meeting not to happen, and so information goes out that the roads were blocked and barricaded, awaiting her arrival to see how she would defy police and governor's order to come in with a convoy. They were waiting for her. But Odogowani, Bu Odogowani. Power pass power. Hallelujah. Somebody begin to minister to me down in the comment section. Tell me, power pass power. There are some people, by their very design, it's not easy to crush them. You cannot squeeze them like paper like this. They will put up a fight until their last breath. There's some people that are like that. They are not easy tools for manipulation or intimidation. Senator Natasha, in commando style, in James Bond fashion, 007, in naval seal design, flew in a triumphant and glorious entry with a helicopter and landed right at the venue. Are you not understanding? I said like Jet Li, like Jackie Chan. Oh no. Nka Tommy Che, nka Tom different, otorom pieces, otorom gogo. Eba kona Tom, otokam. What are you waiting for? Clap your hands down in the comments. Can your senator ever? Mbano, can your senator ever? Drop a name for this woman down in the comment section, because women and people like this are very rare, especially in a crushing patriarchal system like Nigeria. Senator Natasha, a perfect blend of Eucarian water and Ibira blood, hovered over the sky and landed right at the venue to the rousing and loud welcome of her people. You could taste the undiluted happiness dripping from her people. It was palpable. They defied their governor's orders. They defied the police's instructions. And they stepped out en masse to honor and welcome their queen. And so Senator Natasha met with her people and she addressed them. She made very heavy allegations, alleging that the Senate president was trying to assassinate her. And she reiterated what she had earlier said to his face, that she is not afraid of him or anybody else. After spending some time with her people, she hopped on her helicopter and took off in grand style. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a wow. And so the day came, the day for INEC to finally give its verdict. Its verdict on whether the petition was successful, the accreditation scaled through, and whether the recall process will continue to referendum. Atmosphere was tensed. Blood levels shooting up. Hearts palpitating. INEC went into extraordinary meetings. And upon review, the INEC found that out of the 250,000 signatures that were submitted, only 208,132 signatures were valid, thus amounting to only 43.86% of the registered voters, which stood at 488,000 in Kogi Central Senatorial District. This fell short of the constitutional requirement of 50%, thus making the recall process void. The petition was therefore flung out of the window. I don't know why we have to remind the DJ in moments like this. Is it that he does not know his job? DJ, do what you know how to do best. While we celebrate this milestone and this victory, the next intelligent question that may be asked is, Barrister Neze, is this the finish line? Is this the end of it all? Can this shortfall of registered voters, this shortfall of signatures, be arranged and submitted to make up the shortfall? Can they make up the number and then represent and say, okay, INEC, you said it was short 50,000. Oh yeah, see the 50,000. Continue. What is next? Since the Nigerian Constitution does not expressly or explicitly ban repeated attempted recalls, I believe that a new petition may be restarted, but it must be a fresh process, not a continuation of the former. So it should typically be a brand new recall process with support and of course the signatures of over 50% of these registered voters. Now the question is, will those people who started and initiated, spearheaded this whole recall thing, will they be indefatigable enough to give it another try? We do not know how far their desperation go, but we are watching because I believe that this battle is far from over. So while we may dance in the euphoria of this little win, just maybe, we should not dance too excitedly, because what happens in Nigeria, what cannot happen in Nigeria, does not exist. We will keep watching. Whatever be the case, be that as it may go, what a lot of people do not understand and realize is that history is happening. We do not comprehend the depth of the history that is happening, yes, because it is happening in our time and before our very eyes. But I promise you that this story will be retold and carried on to generations after us. It is a landmark event and it holds plenty of significance. A story will be told of how one single fearless woman who wasn't afraid to stand alone stood up and fought the whole political class of a country. Posterity will remember that. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you are seeing me for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. Drop all your comments down in the comment section and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.
I need to know, are you actually right now conducting the adaptability of the CNG project to Nigeria? Or we just see what happens in China, see what happens in America and think, bam, it can also work in Nigeria. We must be careful in localizing ideas that we see going on in other countries, because that could not work well, or even could work well, our infrastructure does not presently support it. Or maybe we could also take into consideration the fact that our roads need to be fixed so that we would avoid the bumpiness, you know, on the roads. And then we'll also look into consideration the climate, which pretty much we have no right to control that. So please, I would like to know, do we actually have programs? Are you conducting research? Because the explosions are actually quite many, and that has endangered life and properties.